So we're back for another Closers by Committee. This is the opening day eve edition. Getting ready for
Not
the
opening
Giants.
day.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's not
Giants.
opening day.
Well,
It's not real opening day.
it can't be opening day if it's only on Netflix, right? I mean, it can't
Opening night, that's Bialystok and Bloom. That's the producers, man.
be. But so we got the Giants and the Yankees tomorrow night. So on the opening night, and that should be a good match. I don't know who's going for the Yankees. I know it's Logan Webb, and I don't know who gets the ball. Rodon and the other stud at the top of their rotation are hurt, but I don't know who's getting the ball for the Yankees. But should be a good ball game to get started.
Yeah. Trying to find out who gets the ball for the Yankees.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, so we got the opener here, the top of the
Max
first.
Fried.
Max Fried. That makes all the sense in the world. That'll be a good matchup. Fried is a good. If that's your third starter, you're not doing too bad.
He's my first starter in Lebowski.
Is he? We're going to get to that. We're going to go over the Lebowski draft and the NRBL. We're going to get into the fantasy baseball heavily on this episode. But we will top it off with a little news in the opener here. Injury news, of course. Spencer Strider has the dreaded oblique. It's not a lat, at least. I had Syndergaard one year that had the lat, and I was like, oh, thank goodness he's not getting arm surgery. He was still out the whole freaking year. So, but this is only an oblique. He'll be out about a month, and that should give some pitchers in the Braves bullpen a chance, like Didier Fuentes, maybe JR.
Time to find some pants that aren't so tight.
Right. Maybe, maybe, I don't know. Maybe Strider doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot right since his rookie season.
Yeah.
He spends more time
He's
on
all
the
bunched
DL.
up in those tight pants.
Right. It's like you can't get the image out of your mind now. And I forget, it's like if some announcer that brought it up, but Strider does have unusually tight pants for, I don't know, it's like almost seems intentional. I don't know, maybe he's trying to appeal to a certain demographic or something.
Mm-hmm.
But
news today, Pete Crow Armstrong 6-year deal.
Right. That's interesting because, I have James Wood in the NRBL, and both of those, Wood and Armstrong, really had poor second halves. But, it's not uncommon for a team that has the means to go ahead and lock up a guy like that. That way you avoid the ugliness of arbitration down the road and have a more, just have a more steady experience with the player. Also, Christopher Sanchez got a 8-year deal.
Yeah.
He's likely to be
earlier this week, I guess.
Yeah. He's their opening day, the Phillies' opening day starter. He was terrific last year, left-handed pitcher. Didn't he pitch for the Braves before that?
He pitched for the 420 for a few years.
Yeah. I never.
As far as I know, he was always a Philly. But I could be wrong.
Pretty sure he pitched in the minor leagues, or not the American League. That's not, I make that mistake every once in a while. The junior circuit does not mean they're inferior. But
no, he's always been Philly.
Really?
Yeah.
Why did I think that? Anyway, more injury news. Let's see. There's another significant injury.
Two more signings today. Austin Slater to Miami and Jake Cousins to the Dodgers, both 1-year deals.
Right, and that reminds me that Stowers is one of the guys that's going to
one of the injuries. Yeah,
on the DL. So I feel like Slater may platoon with Owen Casey. Probably not Stowers. Stowers is pretty much their number 3 hitter when he's in there, right? I mean,
when he's healthy, yeah.
Yeah. But Slater should get significant playing time on that team for sure, I think.
Yeah.
Number of opening day starters have been named. We mentioned Logan Webb, I believe. Yamamoto is going to get the start for the Dodgers in their first game. the one that surprised me is that the Brewers are going to go with Mizorowski, the kid with the electric.
Mhm.
I thought that was kind of. I don't know. Is Woodruff still kind of coming off injury? I would have thought Woodruff might have been the opening day
I think
starter.
Woodruff is still hurt.
Is he?
Yeah,
Well,
and they traded for Jake Woodford today.
Jake Woodford, yeah, former Cardinal.
From the Rays for KC Hunt.
Right. Let's see. J.R. Ritchie is another Atlanta starter that may benefit from Strider's injury.
Tight pants.
His tight pants, yes. So
Can't dance in those tight pants. Ain't no ballroom.
yeah. Okay. All right. So it'll be interesting to see how the various networks handle that once Strider gets back out there with his booty pants on. All right. But
Reese McGuire out of the NL now. He's a White Sox. Oh,
Reese
White
McGuire?
Sox. Yeah.
Okay. So it's right now the teams are I think the one pitcher that is on the DL right now that you really shouldn't be underestimated or undervalued in drafts is Wheeler. He's not going to be out much longer, and for instance, in our draft, he would probably be the number one. Him or Sanchez would probably be the number one starter on the market.
It's going to be hard to trust Wheeler, though, man.
Yeah.
Thoracic outlet syndrome.
There's an element of risk in every player, but when the upside is like that, he's
got the Merrill Kelly version, the lesser version.
Okay, well, there's that. They said Garrett Cole's hitting 98 now. I mean, he's getting pretty close. But the Phillies rotation is pretty good to begin with. But once they have him at the top, the Phillies might be the main. I don't know. A lot of people feel like they've dropped off, but I feel like they might be the main challenger in the National League to the Dodgers.
They were this year.
Yeah. But they're getting a little bit older. It's kind of questionable maybe that they signed Schwarber to such a long extension. He doesn't profile as a guy that's going to age well, necessarily.
They'll unload him to the Angels in 3 years.
Yeah, or maybe the Reds will take him off their hands. They say he was fairly close to signing with the Reds. I don't know how true that was, but
I don't think it was very true.
Yeah. But anyway, there's your short version of the news. I'd like to get into the fantasy baseball because that's foremost on both of our minds. We've already had one draft. We had the Big Lebowski, what I call the Big League, because it's 16 teams. And it's how many categories is it, Aaron?
8 by 8.
8 by 8.
But we're now only 14 teams.
Really?
We trimmed back last year. Some of the
8.
zombie owners. We went from 18 to 14.
Okay. I thought we went from 18 to 16, but
we'd gone from 18 to 15, and then I booted somebody out to make it an even number because it's head to head.
I guess the fog of war misled me there, but I thought that I had more opponents than I did. But
I was very pleased with my Lebowski draft, though. And I think we came in 1 and 2 in the projections, didn't we?
I came in 2, but I didn't pay any attention to anybody else. So I didn't look at anybody else. I just kind of looked at it and said, hey, I'm 2. That's great. And
I did have the presence of mind to screenshot it, so let me see.
Okay. So I put up, this is my team. I'm a little self-centered about it, but let's go look at Aaron's team here. Let's see, I don't have any porn up on the tabs or anything, so this is all good to go. But let's see. What you are? No, you're.
Prior restraint.
Prior restraint. Okay, this is why I keep my team name the same every year. But here's
I
Aaron.
change mine every year in Lebowski because there's so many names to use.
Is that a quote from the movie?
Yeah.
Prior
The
restraint.
Supreme Court has roundly rejected prior restraint.
All right.
I'm staying.
So
I'm finishing my coffee.
you were projected to be number one. As it stands, this changes
As
dramatically.
it stands, yeah. You want me to send you the screenshot, or?
Or can you share it out?
Yeah, I could share it.
Okay. I will stop sharing
Boom, boom, boom.
if I can. Okay.
I don't know if I have a sharing button.
Oh, really? Oh, if you join
Oh.
as a guest, you might not. Yeah.
Yep. Oh no, maybe I do.
I thought you
There we
did.
go. Yeah, I do.
Bear with us, listener.
Yep. I have to allow Chrome to do stuff.
So I thought when you're in the ESPN drafts, the number of people that are on auto draft can be kind of annoying at the beginning because the setting is 90 seconds, or you had it set to 60, I think.
Yeah.
But you got to sit there and wait a full minute for the first. It's only the first round or two, right? And then,
Yep. If I drop off, keep talking. I'll be right back in.
all right. My first pick in the Lebowski draft happened to be wasn't Byron. Well, let's wait for Aaron to get back in here. Okay. All right. Now I can't hear you, buddy. Oh, there you
go. Now let's see if it lets me choose a screen to share. Yeah.
Add to the scene.
There we are.
All right.
So I'm projected to finish with 157.5, which is 12.5 points ahead of you. And you're 5 points ahead of Super Bryce Harper, who's 3.5 ahead of Sean.
Interesting. Who is Super Bryce Harper? Who would name their team that?
I believe they're kind of a farm system for Shomer Shabbos.
Oh, okay.
They trade with each other all the time.
Got it. I should know these things.
Yeah. They just had like a 6-player deal already before we even started.
Well, how conventional is an 8x8 league?
Not at all.
Not at all. Right. This is.
I picked the categories myself, and I keep tweaking year after year, or kept. People had started punting stolen bases, so I added net steals as well.
Right. It's all, to me, it's kind of like when you take all the colors in a paint kit and mix them all together.
Sort of.
But somehow, Sean, of course, knows he knows how to pick the locks, and you know how to, put it, you know how to contend throughout the season. But
I know how to draft. It's my restraint during the season, I think, that I got to work on.
Because there are pitch ceilings, right? You can't have too many innings. It cuts you off at a certain.
That's true. Yeah, if you hit too many innings, it's. Right. Or is it? We might have made it games for this one. I'll have to look up the rules.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a minute.
But I think my first pick was Francisco Lindor. That was the 14th pick of the draft, and then I had the 15th pick because it was a snake draft, and I took Fernando Tatis. So that was a pretty good. It was a pretty good 1-2 combo there at the outset of the draft. I felt like
maximums. Oh, pitchers get 12 starts every week.
oh, after 12 starts, you don't get any more starts.
Yeah. After 12 starts, you don't get any more pitching.
Okay.
But if you have 11 starts going into a day and you get, you have 6 guys start, you get all that day.
Right. Okay. Well, that makes sense. So who was your first pick?
My first pick was at number 12. I got Cal Raleigh, who I had ranked number 3. I couldn't believe he fell to me.
Mm-hmm.
So at number 12, I got Raleigh. At number, was it 17 coming back?
Mm-hmm.
I got Vladimir Guerrero, who I had ranked 7th. And then my next pick wasn't until like pick 40 because we had to wait for it to go around the other way and come back.
Right.
And that's when I got Fried, who I had ranked 26th. And after that, I got William Contreras, who I had ranked 25th. So I got these guys both up in the. All 4 of those guys I got well below.
Did you have them pre-ranked?
Yeah.
Okay. I did not do that. I just.
Yeah, all I did was instead of the default ESPN rankings, I went into the players like I was adding a free agent before you're even allowed to, and they're ranked according to our scoring.
Right. That's kind of what I was getting at. It's like you take the canned ESPN scoring, and if you probably pick those players, you're not going to score in some of these unusual categories. Like
you're gonna be geared for a different game.
Right. So
and that's why the number 3 player fell to me at 12.
So you're saying, okay, now I always wondered this. I always wondered if this was your own, that you.
I didn't have time to do all. I'm too busy with the NRBL, so I just used the ESPN rankings for the correct scoring.
But if you go by the free agent, if you treat them all as free agents, then it actually slots them in where they are leveraged best for the.
It doesn't slot them in. You can see what they are, and you got to manually drag them.
Okay.
It's a very laborious, time-consuming process.
Right. I've taken this league before, just to let you know, because I've been accused of letting it go, let it get away from me around July or August sometimes. But I did take 1 year where I took all my starters and I diligently tried to project when they were going to, I would follow it from week to week because I'd have to make adjustments. But to stream pitchers, I had a spreadsheet where I would show that, he's due to pitch on Thursday. So I need to know when I go in on Friday to take this reliever and put him in,
But you can set those ahead of time. You can do your whole week.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I don't remember if I did that or not, or if I did it manually from day to day or whatever. But
I tend to set my whole week and then every day I go in and tweak it anyway.
Right. But I have I just sometimes I just get distracted and forget or something. I don't know. It's like I struggle a little bit with this. So I feel like I got a good team this year and I'm going to try to hang in there. We'll follow the progress of it.
Yeah.
Of the league throughout the season here. But I haven't cracked the code of all the categories. In our BL, we're adding strikeouts and runs, and that is drastically changed the values of those players. And those are only 2 extra categories. Like I tried to emphasize holds before. Like I've had well, you don't know when a guy's going to get a hold, so you want to have a couple relievers there to when you stream your starter, you can stick a guy in there to be productive when your starters. That type of thing. That never has really seemed to work out too well. And it's like, well, how many closers should you really have? Can you have too many closers and not enough guys? Because holds is a category just like saves, So it gets pretty complicated juggling that many categories,
Yep. So pitcher wise for me, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 starters, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 relievers. And of those relievers, I have one full-on closer, Cade Smith. Garrett Whitlock is a set. He's a holds guy. Matt Brash is a holds guy. Kevin Ginkel, they have him marked as 17 saves, 17 holds.
As a Ginkgo owner, I'm gonna say bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
sorry
either.
to say. I'm not real
388
happy
is a
with
pretty optimistic ERA too, but 134 whip, that's the worst one on my team for sure.
that. I mean, Ginkle was solid all the way up until last year. He had a couple, 2 or 3 really good seasons in a row, but I don't know. Something right now is not right with him.
That
So
boy
that-
ain't right.
That boy ain't right. All right. Well, you want to take a look at the NRBL now, or you got more that you want to point out here?
Yeah, I'm just going to go down my staff here. Yeah, the 17 and 17. Chris Martin, they got marked as 7 saves. I don't know. I guess they're a toss-up in Texas, all right?
Yeah, they're sharing it. Him and Garcia, I think, are sharing their job right now. So.
Tanner Scott, he'll get some holds and a handful of saves, but he'll have a really good whip in ERA. Gabe Spires is a holds guy. So yeah, I have really one full-blown closer and Kevin Ginkel as far as saves go. But what always happens when you get extra holds guys is they get promoted into saves
Mm-hmm.
and into closers.
Setup guys, 7th and 8th inning guys.
Yeah,
Lefties can even pick up some vulture saves and stuff.
yeah. Somebody either gets hurt or chokes. And boom.
I'm happy with my catching this year. In the past, I've waited to get catchers, and I've wound up even with like second string catchers, which just will not fly in a league with this. It's this big.
Yeah, I can't believe the quality of my catching this year.
Who you got? I can't even read the screen.
Oh, Cal Raleigh and William Contreras.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And position scarcity. Thank you for increasing the screen there. But position scarcity is always a big deal in catcher position. But the league, at least the National League, is in good shape with hitting catchers right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're plentiful, and I was pretty happy that I wound up with Drake Baldwin and Dylan Dingler. That's not bad. I mean, he'll hit for a decent average, and he's
I'm going to
solid.
call him Dirk Diggler all year, right?
Dirk Diggler, yeah. It would be tempting, but I'll probably refrain.
Mm-hmm.
Like that guy in who's the guy in Florida? Ramirez in Miami.
Closer?
No, catchers.
Oh, Augustin Ramirez, yeah.
Yeah, that guy is a sleeper. I mean,
John cut him too, so he's out there.
Right. Well, when we talk about the NRBL, I kind of got myself screwed over on that. I kept 2 catchers and probably should have only kept 1. But see if we can go to all rosters. We can just look at the rosters because this was cut down week. We cut all these rosters down the other day. Let's look at that other format, Aaron, if you don't mind.
What other format?
Go to team rosters, all teams. Yeah, that I think that'll show on the podcast a little better. So here we can see we've got a $300 budget, and we can keep up to 10 players. And as we can see in the instance of Sean here, he has kept 10 players for approximately $100, so approximately $10 a player. That gives him $200 to spend on 17 players, averaging out to probably close to $11 a player.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's
Actually,
there are 14 position players and 13 pitchers. And with the introduction of the strikeouts and the runs, and especially the strikeouts, the number of starting pitchers that people are going to want to carry are not going to be satisfactory for the number of starters in the league. There'll probably be some damn Colorado Rockies drafted this coming Saturday. That's how desperate it might become.
I don't know. Not
Well,
for me.
Not for me either, but we do have people in the league that have 13 pitchers, and they might have 13 starting pitchers. Not to name names.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever reason, they feel like they don't really recognize the fact that if you have a great starting pitcher and you have a shitty starting pitcher, it basically neuters your great starting pitcher. So
Yeah, unless the shitty one gets strikeouts.
Right. Well, yeah. And he will, because if somebody's posting innings, they're going to accrue strikeouts.
Mm-hmm.
So there's more of an argument today to carry a large number of starting pitchers than ever. But that's what's the great unknown. What I will say is that I own Chris Sale, and Sean pursued Chris Sale like a demon this offseason. Whereas last season, I don't think he'd have given me anything for him. Maybe a little, but the injury risk and everything that goes along with Sale, but it's because of the strikeouts.
So I've kept 6 pitchers, which is tied for the most, but I also have a Ohtani, so that gives me really 7 pitchers because he's a 9-category stud.
Yeah. Right. 7 pitchers. I think most teams are going to ideally have around 70 starting pitchers, and maybe you might move them
Starting
on.
pitchers, I only have 3.
Okay.
And 2 of them are Cardinals.
Yeah.
One of them's Ohtani.
Well, let's look at your team here. You scroll down.
Scroll down to myself.
Yeah. So, Liberatore, I like that. Palante's good for $1, you know. Gasser got sent down, didn't he?
Yep.
But is that just to stretch? I think he's just to stretch him out, wasn't it?
I don't know. He didn't have a great spring, but
The Brewers have
he'll be up soon.
Well, they also got that guy, Sproat.
Mm-hmm.
He's challenging for the back end of the rotation. Their rotation is not spectacular, but it's solid from top to bottom. I heard someone describe it as that they have a second major league rotation waiting, you know, in AAA.
Yeah.
So Patrick Bailey, I can see why you kept him in your dollar. Who was a dollar player that you cut to keep Patrick Bailey?
They were all pitchers that I cut. Let's see here. Well, the cuts are all gone.
No.
It's too many cuts. They were shitty $1 pitchers.
Okay. I'm curious to know who they are, but maybe like lefty guys or.
Yeah, I'll tell you here. I do have the pre-cuts saved. Of course, I cut them before I saved them.
You know what we didn't? While you look at that, we did not mention the WBC and the Venezuela because we were on that night and it ended after our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But that was pretty cool. that Eugenio Suarez won that game with that double in the bottom of the eighth. Felt really good for him. Former Red and current Red. And, the United States apparently, was it you that told me that they didn't accept their gold medal or their silver medal or something? Or some of them just decided not to?
Yeah, they had no enthusiasm. I don't think I'm the one that told you that, though. So you might have told me.
I mean, that's not, I don't know. Of course, it'd been great if the United States had won, but I didn't feel devastated that they didn't, and I was really happy for Gino. It obviously meant a ton to him.
I'm happier that they lost, honestly.
I figured that may have been the case, but I did not look forward to the opportunity for someone from the regime to snake their way down to the locker room or onto the field for a photo op with Aaron Judge or something. It would not been good.
Instead, we got statehood tweets.
Yeah. But so that happened, and the WBC, it was entertaining. I know you're not really into it, and a lot of people have complained about the fact that there's just it's too small of a sample size to really determine a champion in that tournament. But it's meaningful baseball in March, so this is an old roster.
Yeah, this is final rosters from last year, so I can remember who I cut.
Oh, Colin Ray.
Colin Ray, Andrew Heaney. He really went to the AL, so I had to cut him. Mitchell Parker for $2. Cal Quantrill.
Yeah.
Jose Iglesias up here. Jose Trevino. Starling Marte. Wilmer Flores. Well, those guys aren't on NL teams anyway.
Yeah. I have regrets for one of my keepers, at least, if not more. But if I'll just throw it out there, if I were you, I would have kept Colin Ray, I think, over your catcher. But
yeah, maybe. He's not going to be in the starting rotation, though.
He'll be the long man. He'll accrue innings, and he'll probably get some starts. And he's been surprisingly effective.
I feel like I have him every year.
Yeah.
Felt good to cut him loose.
Right. Well, I get it. But you never know. At the end of the draft, you'll have him again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. So my team, if I knew that and I should have known this, I should probably not have kept Joey Bart, even though he had probably his best offensive season, one of his better ones last year. But they have that guy down in the minor leagues. Well, of course they've got Henry Davis.
Yeah.
He's probably going to be the starter, but
Rafael Flores, Endy Rodriguez.
I like Endy Rodriguez. I like him a lot. He got hurt. I had him a couple years ago. He got hurt, and he reminds me a little bit of Benito Santiago. A little bit, He's got a good hit tool and everything. I don't know how long. Joey Bart's not a great defensive catcher. So his hitting has to carry a lot of his value. I don't know. But I probably would not have, if I had known that Montero and Agustin Ramirez and JT Realmuto, if I knew they were going to be in the draft, I don't think I would have kept Joey Bart. So I do have regrets about that one.
I'm pretty sure I had them all picked to be in the draft.
I thought Sean might keep Ramirez, but
not for 10.
Isn't William Contreras is in the draft too? That surprised me a little bit. $26, I think, but just because guys like $26, he might go for that again, Contreras, but that doesn't necessarily mean you should keep him going into.
You and Micah both spent a mint.
Well, mine's all and somebody who's worth spending it on. It's Juan Soto.
Yeah.
But yeah, without Soto, I would have a salary of around $100.
Yeah.
So,
95.
yeah. But I like my team. I like my team. I wish what's his name on the Cubs would go away and Miguel Amaya would inherit that job because I think he's going to be a good hitter.
Shit bags.
Yeah.
So
like
here's their final cuts.
Well, okay, so we talked about Bill's team last time and how he seemed to be taking it a little more seriously. And I think this is indicative of that right here, just by virtue of the fact that he has 10 keepers. That would not have happened in the past.
A lot of them are expensive keepers, too. Or more than they were worth. I only have 3 bargains for him. Goodman, Lodolo, and Romero.
O'Brien's possibly going to be their closer to start the season, but who knows? I don't think so. I don't think it'll be all season. They
got a calf strain. Oh, that's a few weeks old.
Yeah. Jacob Marcy. I don't know. That's kind of an odd one. Bill must really be high on him. But yeah.
0 for 7 in the Grapefruit League play after the WBC.
Okay. So this is the one we talked about today, Ryan Nelson.
Pitchers are us.
Mm-hmm. Right. Pitchers. This man loves pitchers, and he wouldn't listen to anything for Chris Sale. It's like, I'm like, dude, former Cy Young award winner. You know, it's like undervalued at $22, and he just wouldn't have it. I wouldn't even ask him for what.
I couldn't believe he kept Freddie Freeman for 39, but first base is so desolate.
Andy and Jim is a diehard Braves fan.
On
top of it, and it's like he just wouldn't have it. Anyway, I didn't need to make that trade anyway. I'm happy now to have Chris Sale this year. But I liked Ryan Nelson too. I really like him, especially now that with the strikeout category.
I tried to make one last play for Musgrove Saturday morning. Yeah, I offered Rodney all my non-dollar guys plus either Gasser or I forget who the other one was. Gasser or Palante probably. And he wasn't having it.
Nah, Baba, nah. When's he scheduled back? He's another one starting the season on the DL.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know who I think is a sleeper there?
Maybe.
The guy they picked up from the Rockies.
Who picked up from the Rockies?
The Padres. He's probably going to start the season as a 5th starter. God bless. We can't have these moments on our podcast, at least. Aaron, we're trying to grope for who to
Well, I don't know who you're talking about.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Freeland?
No, not Freeland. He's the perennial.
Freeland, Lorenzen. Hold on. I hit Colorado instead of the Padres.
Yeah.
Herman Marquez.
Yes. I don't hate him now.
Be interesting to see him outside of Coors, yeah.
Right. He's got pretty good numbers historically outside of Coors. He pitched today in like 5 innings or 4 innings maybe, struck out 8 batters. So he's kind of a sleeper, I think. Herman Marquez, yep. Anyway,
did he throw a no-hitter or came real close to one, right? Or am I confusing with someone else?
I don't recall that. It wouldn't surprise me. Those things seem to go in cycles. Like we'll have like 5 of them one year and none the next. But anyway, let's
He took it into the 9th.
okay. He's got pretty good stuff. He could you know, depending how long once the Musgrove comes back, who knows? He might become the swing man there. But even so, this guy's gonna be valuable if you're trying to rack up innings and strikeouts. That's one thing I fell into last year. Is I had like 2 or 3 closers at one time, and like 4 setup men. So I didn't have any long relievers, and I had like 5 starters. And I'm like, I got to pick it up. I don't have enough innings. You know, you got to have those swing men, and guys that actually accumulate some innings. You can't just go with all potential closers or whatever.
Yeah. Finley's team, I only had him. I mean, I knew he'd keep 10, but I only had 4 that I pegged worth keeping.
Well, Zach Littell. That's the only one that really had me scratching my head.
Yeah. Why would you keep Zach Littell?
I think he did some solid work for Mark down the stretch last year.
Oh, is that it?
But these guys, we don't really know these guys. Somebody needs to tell them. We don't really, owe these guys any kind of. We don't owe them a job or anything. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't
let him sign him. Sign all the Zach Littells you want. Yeah.
I mean, he did, and he is a pretty decent back end starter. But $11, he would have had. I think he had to franchise him to make him $11, right?
Yeah.
But you can probably afford one mulligan, one bad roster spot. But
I had Otto Lopez was a bargain at 7. Jordan Beck was a bargain at 5. Burleson and Pages were good deals at 11. And Beatty's worth the $3 that he is. Everybody else is pink or red on his team.
Yeah, I should have never traded him Andy Pages. That was a terrible mistake.
Who'd you get for him?
It was a deadline deal, and I cannot recall. Who I got for him now. But it was a mistake. No, it wasn't. It was a preseason trade. Okay, here's what it was. Here's what makes it even worse. I had Mike Tolia and Pages, and I was trying to figure out which one I was going to franchise. Tolia had hit something like 27 home runs. Looked like he had the first base job in Colorado. It's like I can't keep Pages, so I traded him to Mark as part of the Tanner Scott trade. I got Tanner Scott. I gave him Pages and a couple other pitchers or something, but I rue the day that happened. That was not good. You're fact checking me. That's my memory of it.
I can't even find it.
Yeah. But anyway,
that said it was preseason. That's why. It's previous year.
And that's a life lesson there. Don't necessarily trade somebody just because you're not going to keep them, because you might want an opportunity to bid on them in the draft. I think that's what happened with this year when David did not keep. Here we go again. Suarez.
Yeah,
Suarez of the Braves. I don't think he didn't want to keep him because he's kind of in no man's land. He would have had him maybe for some saves. He may have got the job this year. But
all he had to do is bid on Iglesias, man. Handcuff him.
Yeah, that's a strategy, but I think he wanted an opportunity. He probably feels like he can get him back for $12 to $15.
He had him for $6.
Yeah, I know, but so let's say Suarez inherits the job this year and racks up 20 saves between June and the end of the season. And then
saves are better for $6 than for $15.
Well, David told me he doesn't expect to be. I don't know how true that is. Maybe he's being coy, but he said he's not. He doesn't think he's going to compete this year. So I feel like he wants to put Suarez back there at a price that maybe you can grab him at a median price, have him turn into the closer, and then have him, project to have him later. But he's
Or
going
have
to
him
be,
soak up money.
yeah. Well, I'll be bidding on him. I know that, but so will a lot of people. That's no secret.
Rodney, $124.
Yeah, the toy box loves Rodney. I think when I checked it.
I've got Bones in the lead, I think, right now.
Yeah. Well, he should at that salary. He kept both Tatis and Lindor, I believe.
Yeah, he did. Fucking psycho.
He'll if he was a smoker, he'd be taking some breaks come Saturday morning. But
yep. We got Bones 5 points ahead of Sean. Sean's 3.5 ahead of you.
Yeah.
I'm way down in 9th place with my dollar guys and my 2 studs.
Yeah. Well, we'll do a much more brief check-in on the NRBL than this one. It's just this happens to be, our draft is coming up Saturday morning, so I thought it would be a good time to devote.
Yeah.
Can't wait till
those rosters really lock on Thursday.
Right. Especially me because I get a minor league draft pick.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to.
Who's it going to be? It's going to be Connor Griffin if he's not voted in, but he'll be voted in.
I would think so. No. So are you going to change your vote?
No. I voted exactly who I wanted to vote for.
Well, I was in the same.
I don't get a pick.
I was in the same of the same mind as you. I thought that Griffin might make the squad, but he didn't.
Yeah.
But
and I'm not bidding on him anyway, so I don't care if he's in or not.
You wouldn't bid on him?
Not for what he's going to go for. I mean, I'd put a bid on him, but once he got above about $12, $13, I'd be out. Would you, if you could turn back time, would you bid more than $11 on Ellie? No.
No, he had a rough season last year. That's right. He didn't really hit for power in the second half. All right. Well, all right. So let's go on.
Your features my first extension in. When did I come back in the league? 2010, 2009?
Sounds about right.
I had one extension that first year, maybe one the second, and nothing since.
Not playing the long game. Well, the rules
they bite people. 3 people are having to take the fab hit this year, right?
They do bite people, but the commissioner continues to tweak the rules to make it even more. I mean, that's the idea: is to not to have. He doesn't. The whole idea is to like rich these players away from you and throw them back in the draft if possible. But there are a number of people that don't want to let them go. It's like I worked fucking hard to get this player, and so that's the ongoing struggle. There are people that are of a mind you only keep 5. You just throw it all back every year, just about. But then there are others that like the continuity of it. But the more that you keep, the harder it is to overcome. The easier it is for a dynasty to develop. So that's the ongoing struggle. So
everybody kept 10 except 2 people. David kept 9. George kept 8.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to
George's max bid is $211.
Oh wow. George is a good owner too. He's going to scarf up some good players for sure. Not, the whole league is pretty strong actually. I don't mean to disparage anybody. But, all right, so unshare a minute. I want to share our next segment is the middle innings, and I just wanted to talk about greatest opening day memory, and I got one I wanted to share here, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to, 2011, May 31st, 2011. I was in left center field, Reds, Brewers, and the Reds were down by 3 coming into the ninth, and I believe
May
Scott Rowland had a
31st,
big
though? That's not the opener.
March 31st. I get
Oh,
March and May mixed up. So here we go. Ramon Hernandez steps up to the plate with 2 runners on, and John Axford with the Doc Holliday mustache is on the mound.
Hernandez 3 hits and 4 at bats. A little surprised you're not running for Rowland here. Of course, they've already used Juan Francisco and Cairo. Maybe that's the reason why they're not. They don't have anybody else to play the infield.
Well, they could play Renteria out there.
Yeah. In the air down the right field line. Does it have a chance? The Reds have won it on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez.
I'd forgotten how much Tom Brenneman annoys me.
Right.
Him and Tom Hamilton, man. If they're not yelling, it's not an exciting play. Fuck.
I almost don't recognize Tom Brenneman unless he goes like, well, there's a drive to left center field, and it's out of here. But I want to continue to apologize for the terrible statement I said and caught on air. I'm really not that person, you know. That's my Tom
Considers
Brenneman.
himself a man of God.
Yeah. He's also MAGA. When he came back on the air on radio, he came out and said, well, I'm all, he just blatantly said, well, I'm like all MAGA. I'm all President Trump. And that's what I'm going to bring to the show. I'm like, well, can't you be subtle about it at all? You know?
No, you can tell who he is.
Yeah. All right, Aaron, what's your favorite
opening day I remember best is the Tom Seaver one in the rain against Houston, 1978. It's probably, I guess, 5th grade or something. Mrs. Jones wheeled the TV in, and there was a good long rain delay, and Reds won like 16-9 or some really high scoring
awesome
thing.
Wasn't that great when they'd wheel the TV in and just stop everything and you watch? I mean, that's the way it should be. That's what part of the reason I don't like the 4 o'clock start for one thing. You know, just all that stuff.
You're not in school.
All the old. It's just, I guess I'm too old school too. It's like, but
4 o'clock start's a 1 o'clock start for me. So
yeah. It's not right though, man. The field doesn't look right. It's not right. It's like you should have to take the day off work. I mean, that's just the way it should be. None of this bullshit of fitting it in after work and all this stuff. Yeah.
I've only ever been to 2 opening days, and they were both with you.
Yeah.
One was a couple years ago at Great American, and the other one we had to sell newspapers for the Inquirer, and they didn't let us into like the 3rd inning.
Wow, I don't remember. I vaguely remember that, I guess.
It was like a year or 2 after we graduated high school. I think I saw Mr. Grant and Mr. Leonard walking in.
The story, I can't remember the ball game. I kind of remember some of those details, but I sure don't remember that game. But
nah, it's rough when you get
roped into doing it.
shilling for papers for like 80 minutes before they let you go in.
Right. It's like you missed the first pitch and everything.
Oh, we missed like the first 2 innings easily.
Mm.
The seat sucked, but we were in there on opening day. That was my first opening day.
Wow. So I think so now that you mentioned, I think my first one was when Pete Rose came back with the Phillies, the Red, and his very first game was at Riverfront against the Reds.
That's 78, 79.
79. Yeah, because I hated him for leaving, and it was like when the Reds won the division, it was like, fuck you, Pete Rose.
Turns out you were right.
Yeah. But all right, so we got 5 minutes left. I figured we've done like a lot of closer situations. I figured we'd close out the off season here by talking about some situations that are already locked in. These guys are not going to lose these jobs unless they really implode or there's an injury. But this is our always be closing.
A, B, C. A always B, B, C closing. Always be closing. Always be closing.
So those guys are not closing. They're getting their asses kicked.
Yeah.
So I'll throw one out there that I think is a locked in closer situation, and then you respond with another. I'll go with the San Diego Padres, Mason Miller. He's not going to lose that job unless you take him off in a
Neither's
shortcut.
the Dodgers and Edwin Diaz.
Right. Chicago Cubs, I don't see anybody challenging Daniel Palencia. They got Phil Maton is setting up for him, and Maton's a decent setup man, but he's not going to challenge Palencia.
Yeah. Munoz in Seattle. I don't think Brash is going to challenge him unless he gets hurt.
Okay. So these are guys that will go for high dollars in most auctions and early rounds in most drafts. Wherever the closer run starts, it's going to start with these guys. I'm going to say Aroldis Chapman in Boston. He is coming off his best season. He's sort of reestablished himself as one of the better ones.
Jean Duran in Philly.
Yep, that's also a good one. Devin Williams. The Mets are expect to win. They're not going to have the longest.
He pitches like last year, though. I don't know.
He was with the Yankees, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was with the Yankees, but he stunk up the joint.
In fact, he was traded mid-season, I think, by Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe that's more questionable than I give it credit for. The Mets do expect to win, so they're not going to give him all the rope in the world.
Yeah.
I can't come up with their setup man at the moment to offer an alternative.
We got Williams, Weaver, Raley.
Oh, Weaver would probably be the most logical successor.
Yeah.
But
Miami's pretty set, I think. Faucher's not going to catch Fairbanks.
Mm-hmm. Unless
Reds are pretty set, unless Pagan blows up.
Yeah, I'd say that Pagan's pretty safe.
Him the 2027 closer on some of these things.
Wow, he's quite a renaissance for that guy. Here's a shock. This might shock you, Aaron. I don't think that anybody's going to overtake David Bednar with the Yankees. I think they like him in that role. They got good arms like Doval, Emilio Doval behind him. They got good arms, but I think they like him in that role. Fernando Cruz. They got with the funky movement that he has. But I think Bednar's going to hold on to that job. They're going to give him a lot of rope on that because he can't do much else, actually. I mean, he could pitch in a different role, but I think that this is his lot in life,
Yeah. We're coming up on 59 minutes here.
Right. If you have one more, you can put that in. If not, we'll just.
Well, let's down the list here. Hoffman in Toronto.
That's a good one. Yeah. All right. So there you go. When you win your league, because you picked one of these closers, you can thank us later. Leave them in the comments. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Join the committee here.
How's the Kurt Russell coming? It's getting there.
It's getting there, yeah. Well,
got some raw materials coming in here.
On Saturday, you need to have them curled up like Raleigh fingers. So
that's what the Kurt Russell one kind of goes back toward the.
Oh, okay.
The ears a little bit.
All right, man. What about the Spencer Strider?
Spencer Strider, that's a smaller stash.
Yeah, what Rodney called him, a Freddie Mercury looking son of a bitch the other day.
Yeah,
all right, man.
Just because all his guys get hurt.
Right.